So essentially, every company has two factories, one that produces stuff and another one that fixes the stuff that's broken. And in IT, that's typically, we build IT systems, we deploy them, it could be an online thing, it could be something else. And the problem is that we end up with people having to fix things that happen in those IT systems. And, most IT systems are designed so that a lot of the transactional processing is designed so that if it hits a wall, it'll take whatever it hit a wall on and dump that out into some bucket. And some poor soul has to go in and look at the bucket and figure out what's broken. Now, when I was in the phone company, we had like 2,000 people fixing billing errors, and just crazy. I mean, the amount of rework, and that rework eats the life out of your profits and profitability. So you have a fix-it factory. Your customers have to deal with you because you have a fix-it factory. Think of a help desk. A help desk is someplace that people call because they can't make your software do what they think it should do, right? They've become part of your fix-it factory now. And how many tech calls do you actually want? Zero. You want zero technical calls, right? In my business, selling an add-in for Microsoft Excel, how many calls do I want to take? Zero. And I don't want people to have to call me to say, gee, why doesn't it do this or that, or why did it do that? No, I want to be out of that business. And so over the years, I've found ways to work around that. Let's see if it'll let me. They're not going to let me scroll forward. There it goes. Okay, so what's the cost of poor quality? Well, we have ordering systems and billing systems and purchasing systems and payment systems, and out of all of these fall errors. So this is kind of the fallout of all these things. And so there's a hidden factory that fixes all of this junk. Even in online systems, if something doesn't quite work right, guess what? Somebody has to fix that. And I don't know about you, but all too often online, I find things that don't work the way I think they should, or they don't, they're not obvious. You can't figure out exactly how to do stuff. And sometimes when you do that stuff, it doesn't work the way you want it to. Even today, when we were getting online here, WebEx did not recognize me as a presenter, so we had to do a little running around right before this to try and get me back online here. So, I think a lot of people have this mistaken impression that the wider you spread it, the greater the returns. And I've lived through multiple occurrences where somebody said, oh, this system's crap, and, we should just rewrite that. Well, no, don't do that, right? Because the system has, over time, through all of the enhancements and everything else, it knows more about what it does than any person can possibly come up with. Even with all the agile in the world, it's very difficult to rebuild and re-engineer and rewrite something that's going to be better than the thing that's already working right now. So here's what I've learned, is that if you want to increase your returns, if you want to get better software faster with less hassle, what you want to do is narrow your focus. Now, I think all of you are familiar with Pareto's rule that says that 20% of what you do produces 80% of the mistakes, errors, waste, rework, and lost profit. Does that make sense? And but what I found is within that, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, Pareto's law is a power distribution, which says that, as little as 4% of what you do is producing over half the mistakes, errors, waste, rework, and lost profit. That's 4 modules out of 100 in a system, right? You don't have to fix everything. You just have to figure out what the 4 are and go fix those. So 4% of your business is producing over half the waste, rework, lost profit, right? And user aggravation, and if users get PO'd, guess what? They stop going to you, right? I don't even know about the rest of you, but lately, Google has started to put more and more ads around less and less of the organic search content. And that's actually because of the pandemic. We were talking about this yesterday in our staff meeting. People are staying to stay home, and more of them are being forced to go toward a Bing search, right? And so Bing search has been growing, but I think, Google has kind of tried to make more money, but what they've done is irritated me as a customer. So, this is the kind of thing that happens in our community if we don't get these things correct. All right, so I just want you to be thinking about, there's 4 modules out of 100, and some of them are very maintenance prone, so they're always breaking and they always have to be fixed. So some of them are more, I have to fix this and fix that and fix something else and so on and so forth. And there's also ones that are very enhancement prone, right? So these are the ones that are always being tweaked, enhanced, enriched, and whatever, right? Is there a way that we can rewrite or recode just those 4 to make them error-proof and get out of this business of, all this rework, which costs a ton of money? You can get on with building real software that people really want rather than fixing software that's broken. And I don't know about you, but I've had to maintain lots of other people's software, and some of it is beautiful and some of it is just unreadable. It's just unreadable. So this is the kind of thing to think about, is instead of redoing everything, let's go use some data and figure out what those 4 are and then go fix that. So this is how I kind of discovered this over time. So I was working with, after I left the phone company, I actually came back and worked with the cell phone side of the house, and they had a 17% error rate on service order errors, right? So people would call up and try and connect service or disconnect a cell phone service, and it was all breaking down, and 17% of those were failing. And all of those were falling off into a bucket, and then they had to hire a bunch of temp workers to go in and fix each one of these manually, figure out what's going on, figure out how to fix it. And so we actually were able to figure out how to reduce that to 6% in just 6 months. And we eliminated 100% of the top 6 error buckets and started saving $250,000 a month in savings, because we didn't have to have all these technical temp people working on this thing. So that's a ton of money, right? And the cost was a few days of planning, some half-day meetings to do a little root cause analysis, and then we had 3 incremental software releases. They went on to cut their error rate down below 1% following the same process in the following year. All right, so this is what is possible, and this is how I've done it. So we had these orders that were coming in, and you kind of see, we're activating or we are deleting things and so on and so forth. And if that failed, then customers would call back and say, why haven't you disconnected my service, or why haven't you turned this service on? And so every phone call is like $12, $8 to $12, right? And so you can't really afford to have people calling you. That's just awful, right? And so then it becomes more and more and more of a problem for that customer. And this, because this was a cell phone company dreamed up by the phone company, US West at the time.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN to earn, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.